Nicholas is not coming this year. Instead, a much darker, ancient spirit.
Those are hooves. Elk or a goat?
What kind of goat walks on its hind legs?
Toys in every store.
So it's that time of the year again, the holidays. That time of the year where you put Christmas lights on your house. Turn on the heater while it snows outside, unless you're in Florida. Make a cup of hot cocoa, grab a warm blanket, and watch family Christmas movies. Well, on this episode of Midnight Movies, we're gonna review a newer Christmas classic. A film that educates us on the meaning of Christmas and the warmth of family.
Hey, Howie. So, what'd you ask Santa for this year?
Really nice. It looked pretty good. It looks...
We're gonna review Krampus. If you have no idea what Krampus is, you're doing yourself an injustice. This movie came out last holiday season, and it instantly flew to the top of my holiday watch list. Some of you out there may be aware of a jolly old fellow called Santa Claus. But who is this Krampus? Well, according to Wikipedia, Krampus is a horned, anthropomorphic folklore figure described as half goat, half demon, who during the Christmas season punishes children who have misbehaved.
Oh my God.
It was only a matter of time before a story like this got a full-blown movie, and it is delightful. The movie opens up perfectly, showing you the reality of what it's like during Christmas if you make the mistake of going out to stores. People are rampaging through open doors. Customers are being dragged out by security.
Dolls that will talk and will go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen.
Security guards are forced to tase people to get them under control. Crying children sitting on the lap of a Santa Claus who can't figure out what he did to end up in this position. Customers watching in horror as they realize how much money they're spending. It is complete chaos. I can confidently say that this is one of my favorite opening sequences for any movie that I've ever seen. I actually worked retail for a little over 6 years. I will tell you something right now. What I just showed you in this movie is absolutely not that far from the truth. I don't know what it is about the holidays, but people go crazy. And I will estimate that about 95% of what this movie shows right here in this beginning scene is 100% accurate. I have seen many of these things happen. So as I'm watching this movie, I'm like, oh my God. I was reliving some of the worst memories of my life. I did find a guy that when I saw him, I instantly connected with him. Look, this guy right here, you see his face? That was me working retail during the holidays. There's no difference. It was my exact face. The opening to Krampus perfectly shows what kind of movie you're in store for. If you watch the trailers, they kind of made it look like a horror movie, which I guess it is, but I put it more in the category of horror, similar to Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness. It's very campy, and it's purposefully done. Krampus tells the story of a family celebrating the holidays together. You've got the young son in the movie who desperately wants to believe in Santa Claus. The father and the mother who just want to survive the holidays when family decides to barge in.
Last year, I found shit in my bed, Mom. Human shit.
For the last time, that was their dog.
They're why some people shouldn't be allowed to breed. Your words, Mom, not mine.
I never said that. I said maybe they should have to take a test before they're allowed to breed.
And this extended family that barges in is extremely entertaining. They're those family members that nobody wants to invite to family events but show up anyways. You've got the aunt and uncle that come to visit, which by the way, the uncle is hilarious. He is completely inappropriate and he's kind of a dick.
That's my boy! And I just want to say I'm sorry for thinking you're such a spineless dick all these years.
And you've got his two daughters, which, by the way, when I first saw this movie, it actually took me a little while to realize that these were not boys.
Screw you, Dad does not wish we were boys.
And you've got the grandmother from the old country that lives with the family. And it's only a matter of time before Christmas dinner just goes completely haywire. Max's cousins start making fun of him, find a letter he wrote to Santa Claus. This makes Max lose his faith in Santa and Christmas overall, and he tears up his letter and throws it angrily in the sky. And this is where the movie really starts. Since he tore this letter up and lost his faith in Christmas, the Christmas spirit did not take that lightly. And pretty soon, the whole town's covered in a horrible, horrible blizzard. Which, you know, one thing that really blows my mind. The daughter in the movie wants to go out to see her boyfriend or whatever during a blizzard. And her parents are just like, okay. What? And this is the first time we get a glimpse of Krampus. It's such an effective scene. They keep him so mysterious, and the background noises and everything, it just creates this atmosphere of tension. So Max's dad and Uncle Howard go outside to investigate, because clearly he's worried about his daughter. And they realize this isn't a normal blizzard. There is something afoot. So the rest of the movie just dives deep into this insane horror / comedy with some of the best, most ridiculous things I've ever seen. It's not just Krampus that's running around taking away children and whatnot. He's got an entire army of like evil Santa special forces. If you've been watching my movie reviews, you know I'm a broken record when it comes to practical effects. If you don't need to CG, don't use it. Practical effects always look better. And this movie uses practical effects so well. All these little monsters and things that you see in the movie, they're like puppets and animatronics. They only use CG when it's necessary. Let's take a look at some of these little evil Santa monsters. This thing right here, this thing scared the hell out of me. If I saw this movie as a kid, I would have had nightmares for years. This is a Jack-in-the-Box that keeps growing and it swallows children. Like, what the hell? This is something you would see in a Silent Hill video game. There's some kind of winged angel monster, which, by the way, looks like something right out of the Puppet Master movies. There's a bloodthirsty killer robot. A cute and cuddly teddy bear. Okay, this is my absolute favorite right here. I can't even describe how epic these were. So I'm just gonna show you.
Merry Christmas, Mother.
It's like the little gingerbread man from Shrek just decided to kill people. They're just trying to fight off these little monsters, and without much success, until badass Aunt Dorothy grabs a shotgun and becomes Rambo.
Aunt Dorothy, finish it.
With pleasure. Oh, shit.
And then we get an evil version of Santa's elves. Can you imagine being in your house and all these things just come crashing through your window and take you and your family away? That's one of the scariest things I can even imagine. And again, these are all people in costumes and masks, no CG necessary. And of course, Max's grandma, she's the older character that somehow has knowledge of all these things that are going on and has every explanation in the book for it. She went through something similar when she was a kid, when she stopped believing in Christmas and Santa. I love the way this scene is made because the movie transitions from being a live action movie to this cool, almost like a claymation looking sequence that reminds me of that, what's that movie, Coraline? I think it's called, that Tim Burton movie. I didn't actually see it, but I'm familiar with the art style, and it kind of reminds me of that. I love how it goes to this different art form when the grandma's telling the story about her childhood. It just makes it all more effective and just more interesting to watch. And after failed attempts at fighting off the forces of Krampus, Max ends up confronting this evil being. And this is kind of where I have my little peeve with the movie. Sometimes I feel with horror movies in general, less is more. And when Max confronts Krampus, they reveal his face. I thought it was a lot scarier when his face wasn't shown at all. You know, sometimes you get a view of him from the side, and you see his cloak and his horns, but you don't see his face very well. Because, I mean, it's clearly a mask. It looks a little silly. It just looks like a melting Santa Claus face. So I think it would have been much more effective if they had just kept his face mysterious or in the shadows. Not a huge deal, but it does kind of take away a little bit of the fear factor. And the ending kind of boils down similar to Wonderful Life. Max gets thrown into what looks like a portal to hell, and then he wakes up on Christmas morning and the whole family is together. So if you're sitting here watching this review thinking, why is he reviewing this movie? This is not a family-friendly Christmas film. I disagree. Look at this. They're all warm and happy together. A lesson's been learned. Love your family. Make the best of your Christmas. But in reality, they all got taken away by Krampus and are stuck inside snow globes forever in his secret evil lair. Krampus is a satisfying, completely ridiculous movie that really, you just have to sit there and watch and shut off your brain. But I hope you guys enjoyed this special Midnight Movies Christmas episode. Don't forget to leave me a like down below and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. And I hope you all have a Merry Christmas with your family, friends, whoever you decide to celebrate it with. If you don't celebrate Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever the hell you celebrate. Enjoy it to the fullest. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.
Santa Claus is coming to town.